and just for
You are live. Что, ты сфотографируешь нас всех?
С удовольствием. I will do a photo with pleasure.
Окей.
Можно попросить либо, чтобы нас сделали.
Да.
Либо can do our photo. Может быть, как-нибудь так, как обычно, хорошо.
Я могу...
Начинай.
Я начинаю. Хорошо. Так мы начнем... Постановка.
One second, 1, 2, 3,
So we are starting with advertising because someone drinks tea and eats. So
it's a problem.
No.
Good.
No, just we have. I have this journals we can subscribe. There is in Russian and in German, and there is beautiful stories at the end about the living in America, the beginning of 20th century of Jewish family. Alice Food and Boss, Ruchama Shine. You heard about it?
Oh, maybe it's not.
Okay, whatever. You can subscribe to it. And the topic today is about Nazir. So we learn in Parashat Naso, and there are several important topics in it, and the one that's interesting for us today is Nazir. It's about the person that doesn't want to drink alcohol. So it's like healthy lifestyle, but he does it. That's second thing that he doesn't want to do is doesn't want to cut his hair, and the third thing is he's not contacting with the dead. He can't bury someone. He can't go to cemetery and cannot touch the dead body and things like that. So the question is that I want to discuss today: how can we see this person? Is it a good thing to do, or it's not a good thing to do? How do you think?
I think it's something unusual.
Уклончивый ответ, да.
Уклончивый. No.
So, for example, if we read the written Torah, it uses twice the word kadosh. It means sacred, holy. Kol yemei nizro kadosh hu laHashem. So all the days of this Nazir, when he is not cutting his hair, not drinking alcohol, and not contacting with the dead, he considered kadosh. Kadosh, holy, and in German, heiligkeit. Heilig. Yeah. Yes. So this is the plain understanding. But if we read the oral Torah, we can see another point of view, and this is what I want to talk about today. It's in Masechet Ta'anit. Masechet Ta'anit. I have it here in German. This is Bava Kama, and this is Ta'anit.
Can you ask us now?
Yeah, you can say while I'm thinking. Yes, sure.
Because I was thinking about this today because
I found it.
Read it, and I thought about like how it was when we were children. We were always happy, and we were never thinking that we could limit our happiness or our
good point.
joy in life. few minutes ago, I was looking at Liva, and she had a very serious look in her eyes. She has sometimes she looks very
Yeah,
serious.
sure.
But you also.
My face, I mean.
So she got it from you, I think.
No, my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we always have a lot of pleasure, like always, and do this a lot, then at some point we cannot wertschätzen, appreciate it anymore. The joy. So I think at some point the Chachamim were right that they have limits for the pleasures in life.
Yes, but also before Chachamim, we have in the written Torah, we had limits from the God, right? So you're right about this, but the point is that we already have limits in the Torah, and Nazir is something additional, right? So the question here, is it the right thing to do to add something except the Torah that we have already? This is the question. So we can look at Torah like this, an example that we need to limit ourselves, and if we can add another limit additional for ourselves, we can see this as good thing, like to continue what Torah started, or we can look the other way, that the Torah said this is forbidden, and everything except this is okay. And if we add in, we're saying that the Torah was wrong, maybe. So we can look different point of view at this, right?
I think it's all about the balance of joy and of not getting the joy of like it's like fasting.
Fasting, yes, we're talking about fasting
It's
today.
like fasting.
Sure.
Yeah? So you need to keep this in balance. So
Yes.
you cannot say like have always pleasures or like don't have pleasures at all. Like both
Yes.
ways I think are not right.
I agree, but the question is, what is the right way? So we already have the Torah that we can see it as a way to balance these things, right? And Torah says you can drink wine, right? You can cut hair. So now this person came and said, I don't want to drink wine. So how can we see it? Is he right in this, or he doesn't right? Or it's neutral, right?
I think when it's his personal desire to not drink wine, this could also be a pleasure for him. It doesn't it?
I understand this way about don't like to drink the wine, but also it's a question.
When we read Torah, it looks like a form of sacrifice. Person decides that he doesn't do that usually people do. It was like a culture of drinking wine. Like today also we have a lot of other drinks like tea, coffee, beer. So if someone restricts himself from it, so he kind of detached from the society, maybe from the people, and more connected to God, which is holy, right? So Torah says that it is holy. So he's and also distance from the dead body. So he and the God, our God is called Elohim Chaim, the God of life. So the person is more closer to God if he is distant from the dead, right? So we can understand it, right? Why it's called holy in the Torah, right? But in the Talmud, I wanted to read in the Talmud, Masechet Ta'anit. So we see in Torah that Nazir is holy, but on the other hand, Torah describes what happened if his Nazirut is ended. For example, if someone that he knows died, a relative, so he needs to bury him, or he was just in one room with this person and the person is died. Peta pitom, he doesn't expect it to happen. So now Timeh Rosh Nizro, so his Nizirut is ended, and he needs to cut his hair and bring an offering. וכיפר עליו מאשר חטא על הנפש. So he needs a kapara. How I say kapara in English? Sacrifice. Sacrifice это offering. Это другое. So there is a sin, so he needs to clean the sin. Kapara, so why he needs to clean his sin, and what is his sin exactly? So if we read the Torah, we can understand that the end of Nazirut is a kind of sin. He was in very good position, he was holy, and now he back to regular. So this is the sin that he needs to clean. Yes, what do you think?
She also had, it's about like if I will ask, or I will answer the question about what is a good, bad, about Nazir. I think it depends of mission of person. It's like every person has individual mission about what community, people, Jewish people, about Jewish people, individual mission.
Yes.
And
Хочешь спать?
And also every person has a mission, very individual. Yeah.
But what is this mission? How can we know this mission?
Yes,
if the mission
maybe
exists.
It's for people. It can be like как искупление грехов чисто. Но это вопрос очень сложный. То есть this Nazir, it's if we talk about balance and balance to be enjoy and yeah, it's absolutely unbalanced. It's not.
What is unbalanced?
I'm sorry, but I would like to say that it's not about balance. This one.
But
Nazir, it's about be in less. Yeah, it's not balance.
It's not
Balance, it's a religious
so it's a bonus.
Yeah, it's something special, and I think it's.
Хочешь спать? Она хочет спать.
Yeah. Пойдем, хочешь прилечь? Пойдем.
She wants to
It's a
sleep.
good, like a tendency, maybe for Jewish people, if this Nazir can be like, он может искупить грехи.
Так ты говоришь. Ну.
He can be.
Being a Nazir is a sacrifice for the whole nation.
Maybe. I think it's like, but it's very individual.
У нас есть наши соседи, они так думают про одного человека. Что был вот этот еврей, и он искупляет за всех. У нас тоже есть такие идеи, но это не написано.
Но это же он бы не был же Назиром.
Не знаю.
Okay, it's my idea about искупление.
Или что хочешь.
Very
I really like your view on this, and maybe he also is a kind of an example for all other Jews for extreme behavior. So they know, like Nazir, this is very extreme, and that they see, okay, like this, it's very extreme, and like this is very, and from the other side, and like maybe there's someone else like who has like a lot of pleasure, maybe like. But
this is an example that we need to follow or not.
Should we follow this example? Yeah.
So the oral Torah, Masechet Ta'anit, Babylonian Talmud, it says.
If someone wants to buy, we have a lot to be the second. I think it's good for If so,
Ну, ты можешь принести.
да, где?
А вот там, где свечки, я просто. רבי אלעזר הכפר ברבי אומר, מה תלמוד למר וכיפר עליו מאשר חטא על הנפש. So in the Torah it says that Nazir needs to bring offering and to clear his sin. וכי באיזה נפש חטא זה? So the question is, what was his sin? And רבי אלעזר הכפר describes that שצייר עצמו מן היין. If the person makes pain to himself, that he doesn't drink wine, like the regular people that drinks wine. Everybody drinks wine, right? It was a culture back then. And if someone doesn't drink, so he feels tsa'ar, he feels pain. And this is a sin that the person causes pain to himself. And not only this, but there are other persons at the time of this rabbi, they were existing, and if the person that doesn't drink wine, it's called a sinner. So of course the person that make himself more pain and restricts himself even more about anything and everything else, so he is for sure a great sinner. This is what says Rabbi Lazar. So he kind of switched it to the other side, right? And also there is a Rambam. You heard about Rambam, maybe? He brings it in his Halacha book. The book is called Mishneh Torah. Mishneh Torah. So I will open it now. And there is Halachot. It's called Ilchot Deot. Ilchot Deot. They translate it here as the human dispositions. It means that Rambam has this point of view about the path of the person. So it's called the middle path. So if someone behaves extreme way, it's not good, Rambam says, and everyone should not only behave in the middle, but also that this behavior would be his natural behavior. So everyone should work on his traits of his soul in order that the right behavior would be natural and not that he would force himself to do some right things. Because if someone forces himself to do what he doesn't want, and it is a right thing to do, it means that his soul is sick maybe, and he needs to prepare to fix his soul, and then this path should be a good path. So we have the path of God, the Hashem. So we have different extremes. We're talking about pleasures now. So there is a person that eats too much, so it's not good, and also there are a lot of things that we can't eat, the loss of kashrut. So the Rambam talks about an example that someone could say. So we have. There's someone upstairs?
I think so, maybe Rosa. Should I look?
Maybe this is Rosa. I thought she went downstairs. Okay. So the person could say that there are so many bad things in this world, like forbidden food and forbidden relationships and forbidden actions about the money and the fame, etc. So, for example, someone could decide that I can go to another extreme level and I will not eat meat, for example, and I will not drink wine, I would not marry, and I would not live in a normal apartment, and I would not wear nice clothes, but I would wear something like a sack, like a mule sack. Now we have it in plastic, but they had it from very rough fiber. והצמח הקשה וכיוצא בהם כגון כהני עובדי כוכבים. So he relates to some form of Gentile practices. I guess the persons were living somewhere in the mountains and they were detached from this world and very strict about the pleasures of this world. So if it is a good thing or not. גם זה דרך רעה היא ואסור ללך בה. So Rambam says that it's a bad path and we should not walk on this path. And someone that does this is called chote, a sinner, and he learns this principle from Nazir, right? So about Nazir we read v'chiper alav me'asher chata al nefesh. So the Nazir would need to bring an offering to clear his sin, and he quotes the oral Torah. אמרו חכמים, מה אם נזיר שלא פירש אלא מן האין צריך כפרה? So someone that just doesn't drink a wine and that's it, he already needs to clear this sin. So of course, someone that prevents himself to any joy in this world, he needs to clear his sin. לפיכך, so practical הלכה, ציוו חכמים, the sages said, maybe there is a kitten, a cat, because once a cat came from our neighborhoods. Katze?
I think it's Rosa. A kitten doesn't like this noise. But I still have this in my mind, what I said before, like that it could be like a pleasure for him to fast, for example, or detox pleasures.
Like refuah. The person is sick, so he needs special treatment to become healthy, and after he became healthy, he stops it. Right? That's what you're talking about.
No, what I wanted to say is like that there are different people, and what Rosa said, like everyone has its own mission, and also everyone has its own desires. And for some people, 30 hours to fast, it's not so exhausting like for others. So you can't say like you have to drink this amount of wine, and if you drink more, and this is pleasure too much, because some people can for this wine is not a pleasure at all. It needs to be this like that.
So everyone have this own portion of wine that he needs.
Yes.
But we're talking about extreme level that the person doesn't drink wine at all. So if we can talk about today culture, if person decides not to drink coffee, not to drink tea, not to drink beer, so this should be an example of a person back days that doesn't drink wine because they didn't have a coffee, I'm sure, and the beer is about the same.
It's the cook upstairs.
The cook, yes, he needs to clean, right. Thank you. לפיכך ציוו חכמים שלא ימנע אדם עצמם אלא מדברים שמנעתו התורה בלבד. So the explanation that the Rambam gives why we don't need to add another restrictions to ourselves, ולא יאסר עצמו בנדרים ובשבועות על הדברים המותרים. So the person should not prevent himself with the oaths, שבועות, נדר, שבועה, about things that are permitted by Torah. And the sages said, לא דייך מה שאסרה תורה, אלא שאתה אוסר עליך דברים אחרים. This is a rhetorical question. Sages said, isn't enough for you what Torah says it's forbidden, but you also add in other things to yourself? So this question is very deep question. You have something to say?
No, I just think that this extremist way, and like Rambam said, it's not good. I don't think it's good.
Which way?
To be too extremistic. Extremistic.
So Rambam says to be in extremistic is not good.
Yeah, so I'm with him in his opinion. I don't think this is good for the soul. So the thing is, when we are talking about religion and the service, so the question is what we want to achieve by it. So a person can see that there are
a lot of restrictions. So someone could think that, so the point is in the restrictions themselves, right? So the more restrictions I do, the more religious I am. That's how person could say.
You think that this?
I have like, maybe I like the opinion that we heard that the natural way that we have is like the best way for a person. When you add something extra and it's not your natural behavior, your soul is kind of sick, or how
Yes.
you told it. I think I would go with that opinion. If it's feeling natural and it feels good for a person, he or he should do what feels good for him or herself. And yeah, and if it's like, if I would do something that wouldn't feel natural or would be like a burden to me and it doesn't feel good, I think it would be too extreme, so that my soul would be kind of sick.
Good point. ובכלל הזה, אלו שמזינים תמיד אינן בדרך טובה. And also there are some persons that were in the fast all the time, so it's not a good path. ואסרו חכמים שאדם מסגף עצמו בתענית. So the sages said that it is forbidden to make yourself pain and to be in the fast too much. כל הדברים האלה וכיוצא בהם ציווה שלמה ואמר אל תהי צדיק הרבה ואל תתחכם יותר למה תשומם. So about all these things said the king Solomon, אל תהי צדיק הרבה. You should not be too righteous ואל תתחכם יותר. You should not act or be too smart. למה תשומם? Because after it, I'm explaining, the other persons would understand that it was just a show up and not your natural behavior. So after it, they understand that you are empty, and it would be a dishonor for you, and you go into minus instead of going to gain something. So it's better to stay with the neutral initial position and not to take too much for yourself. So this is an interesting principle.
I like this point.
So we are talking now about balance and to be in some neutral position, but there are another quotes that I wanted to learn today that are going in some positive direction and not just to be neutral, because neutral is a little boring, right? You wanted to say something?
I think that I was asking myself now if when this happens that you become an extremist. When this happens,
question.
Maybe in the beginning I was thinking that this happens when you are alone and you only study Torah too much and you're alone. But and maybe you need some people from outside who get you out of this.
Friends.
To influence you. Yeah. Yes. For example. But then I thought, like, also when you are in a very strict community, also it could happen that people from outside influence you, that you become an extremist because everyone is doing like this and everyone like wants to be like more religious than the other. So it also can force this. So
this race.
Yes, this extremist behavior.
So you're saying that there are communities that extremist behavior in these communities are normal. So it's a question if in these communities it's considered extremist. I don't know, maybe it's relative. It's an interesting question.
It could be both. It could come from yourself and it could also come from your
so you're asking the idea to go to extreme, how it starts.
Yes.
So we are learning that it's not a good idea, but
in the Torah there are the people, one people I know, I don't know that. He's going to the mountain and lives there without anything.
Moshe.
Yes, Moshe. Also, only Moshe, or
to talk to the God and to receive Torah.
For
this is the story.
Himself, for
to find
Find himself.
sich selber.
Ah.
Or find himself.
Interesting.
Not for all the time, but for
Sometime.
sometimes.
Yeah, this is similar what Judith was asking about the treatment for a sick person. So if someone is sick, so he ate too much, I don't know, so he needs to fast some time. So it's a temporary treatment for his problem. And also this, if someone, I don't know, maybe in depression, he needs to be some time alone to understand what's going on in his life, right? So it's a temporary thing that someone can do. But I think that we are talking now about the path, what person doing is in his life. And we are talking about persons that treats extreme behavior like a lifestyle to gain maybe success or to prove something to other person or to be considered as a righteous man, things like this. So we're talking about it that we need to follow the halacha that we find in the Torah and not add too much for additional things, because after it we can be disappointed, or other people could be disappointed in us, because this line of behavior that we are adding to ourselves that is not natural, we cannot continue it forever. And at some point we can go back to our initial level, but for people we already gain our new reputation that is not like our initial level, and the people would be disappointed in us and we can be disappointed in us. So we need to follow like our level, and if we want to increase our level, it should be done very carefully and very slowly, and we need to advise with other people, not to be alone in it, with friends, family, maybe with the rabbi or with some wise man, I don't know. So this is very important topic that I wanted to discuss today.
It's okay.
Aber vielleicht kann ich auch Deutsch probieren.
You can just say it, yes, this is important.
Es geht einfach darum, ob man so einen natürlichen Weg hat als Person, wie man sich verhält. Und das ist quasi ein paar extra Regeln, die man sich auferlegen kann. Ob sich das immer noch natürlich anfühlt, weil wenn man anfängt, diese extra Regeln im Alltag mit einzunehmen, dann hat ja das Umfeld von einem gewisse Erwartungen, dass man es vielleicht eine längere Zeit mitmacht. Und wenn man dann diese Sachen nach ein paar Jahren oder so nicht mehr halten kann, weil es sich eben nicht natürlich anfühlt für eine Person, ist das Umfeld vielleicht enttäuscht oder hat halt irgendwie die Erwartungen nicht erfüllt als Person an sich, oder man ist mit sich selber enttäuscht, weil man diese extra Sachen nicht für ewig aufrechterhalten konnte. Ja.
Die Gebote und Verbote nicht halten kann.
Genau. Und deswegen soll man, wenn man Veränderungen haben möchte oder diese extra Sachen machen möchte, langsam anfangen. Und ja.
Okay, verstehe. Danke.
Yes.
I think now that it might be that this extremistic behavior is coming because you cannot forgive yourself so much.
So there are some psychological reasons, yes, how it starts.
Because if you forgive yourself, like, and you can say, okay, maybe it's a bit mistake, but in the future I will make it better, and you don't get too much angry at yourself, and then you don't force like this extremistic behavior. It might be.
It can change also. Yeah. Right.
Yes, maybe if someone feels like guilt, or he doesn't have like a normal relationship with love in someone, so he wants to impress someone, so he doing something above his level to make some impression to other person and not making like normal relationship. And then after you making like a statement that this is your level, So after it, you kind of forces yourself to live on this level. So it is very hard and exhausting, and people are very tired after it. So this is about it. Yes.
And still not the natural behavior.
So it's not natural.
Mhm.
And the people can live in this lifestyle, so it's not healthy, not optimal. I like to talk about optimal way, so it's suboptimal. Yes. So what about time? I need to finish with something positive. So we're talking about a neutral level, but we also need to understand what direction is preferably to go, because we cannot just stay neutral. We need to understand there are halachot, but what are our priorities, right? So there is interesting place in Jerusalem Talmud. It says like this, Rabbi Hizkia, ריבי כהן ושם רב, עתיד אדם ליתן דין וחשבון על כל מה שראתו עינו ולא אכל. So Rabbi Hizkia said that in the future, it means after the person comes to God and there is a questions, what did you do with your life? Did you do the right thing, or you did something that doesn't right? So the question that would God ask the person about everything that his eye saw and he didn't ate it. This is an interesting definition. So when I saw something tasty and I wanted to eat it and I didn't, so it's a bad thing. Why? So it could be different explanations to it. So in the context that we are talking now is about hurting himself. So if a person wants to eat something, so he's kind of preparing inside. There are some physical processes and also about the mind. And if he doesn't get it in the end, so it feels painful for him. So this pain is something that is not that God doesn't want us from us, and He demands that we should not live in this way, but on the opposite, we should enjoy this world, and this is the direction that we need to go. So this is the one explanation, but also we can explain it in more religious way, because when we eat something, we need to bless Hashem, to praise Him. So we can look in a religious way on food, for example, as a way to enjoy something that God created and to be thankful for Him for it. So we can see this opportunity and we can use this opportunity, or we can miss this opportunity. So we can also explain it in more religious way. And this is also another rabbi that kind of confirms the first statement. רבי אלעזר חשש לרד השמועתה אומץ מתלי פריטין ואכיל בהון מכל מילה חדה בשעתה. So the fruits, how the production of the fruits works, that every fruit have its own time in the year, and if, for example, I don't have the money in this time to buy this food, so I'm missing it, and I'm kind of regretting that, like strawberries, for example, there are times where the strawberries grows. So Rabbi Lazar, he was practicing that he always have some coins. So when a new fruit comes to the market, so he have coins to buy this fruit and to eat it every year. So it was his practice, and it confirms the previous rabbi that if person sees something and doesn't eat it, it is a bad thing. we now know two explanations, or because it causes pain to himself, or because he doesn't feel thankful to God for this beautiful and tasteful world. So it is the end of Jerusalem Talmud Kiddushin. So we ended Masechet Kiddushin in Jerusalem Talmud now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we are finishing official part here, and you can ask